So this session is about dealing with NetCDF data set in Python. So for reading and writing NetCDF data in Python, Xarray is a wonderful tool. There are other packages also. So there you can even use the raw NetCDF library itself in Python, but Xarray is really handy for dealing with NetCDF data. Xarray is so is my screen visible, or is there any problem? Is my audio coming?
I think it's good.
Okay. Yeah. So okay then. So you can install Xarray by pip install. So in my system right now, I think I don't have Xarray. Let me check. You can check if I. So here I am import Xarray. Okay. So I'll import Xarray as XR. So you can in Python you can import a module, and then you can give an alias to it, a convenient alias to it like this. Okay. So if I do this, okay, it says module not found. So I have to install it first. So I mean, I can shift to a terminal and do it, but right, if I have to shift, then I have to again change the screen sharing, and also rather than shifting to a terminal, I can do a terminal operation inside the Jupyter notebook itself. So if you give a exclamation mark, and if you type the terminal commands, it will execute it as a terminal command. Okay, so I can install Xarray just by from inside the Jupyter itself using pip. So I'll install it here. Okay, is it doing it? Okay, I'll try importing Xarray again. Okay, it's still installing. Yeah, so it is installed, and the Xarray is imported as XR. Okay, as the alias XR. I'll delete the cell now. Okay. Now actually I have some data sets here. Okay, I have this HADI-SST, and also I have this SST claim read grid for .nc, which was shared by Deepesh to you all. So I will use this data set for the examples here. Okay. So to open a data set in Xarray, you have to use the function, the method The method open data set. Yeah, somebody's mic is on and they're talking, so so you can open a data set using open data set method. So if you do this and can and give the file name, okay, it will open a data set, but then you have to get the return value of that, which will be a data set object to some variable. Okay, so I'm giving ds equal to xr dot open data set and the data set file name, data file name. Also, I think you have to let me okay. Okay, it says these libraries are not there, so maybe I have to install that also. So let's install these libraries. It says netcdf4 is not there, so I'll install netcdf4. Also, it says okay, I think we need only netcdf4. So basically, Xarray depend upon the netcdf library. So because it's an optional one, netcdf library. I mean, the dependency is an optional, and that means Xarray can deal with other data sets. So by default, when you install, it won't install netcdf4. So you have to install it separately. Once we have installed this, and if I run this, yeah, so this time it ran successfully. I'll delete this. Okay. Yeah, now it ran successfully. You can directly check what is there in this data set just by outputting this. Okay, and it gives a very nice description of the data set here. First thing is you can get the details about dimensions. So you can see there is lat dimension name, lat, lon, and time, and the size of these dimension. You can see the coordinates here, information regarding coordinates. It gives the variables and attributes. Okay, this is an output which is similar to what you get when you're doing a netcdf dump, nc dump, and this is much more clean and neat display. So you can get the information like this. Now we want to read if I want to access a data variable from this data set. If you to do that, you can just so let's say I'm putting it into a variable here. Okay, so if I want to access a variable from this, I can just use ds, then the variable name. Okay, so if I do this, yeah, so I got this variable here. Hello, yeah. So what can I do? I don't know what. No, it's my, yeah. I mean, the best I can do is this. Oh, okay. No. Yeah, I'm using Wi-Fi actually. I mean, no, not Wi-Fi, I mean the LAN. Yeah. No, I don't have. Because of this, I closed everything. Okay. Uh, I don't know. Okay. If it is it too blur, I mean, it's not at all clear. Okay. Uh, yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Uh, yeah. For some people, it seems the display is blurry. Uh, Maybe I can remove this staple of content and increase the size. Right? Yeah, maybe this is better. Uh, okay. So yeah, so to get a variable from the data set, you have to just uh, put a square bracket and get the variable name inside. Okay. You can, so let's see what is now DA here. DA your data array object. Okay. So, okay, let me explain some of these terminologies. So X-array, when you open a data set like this, the the return what you get is a data set object. Okay, X-array data set object, and a variable is a data array object. Okay. So here a DA is a data array object which has this variable. Now let's see what is DA. You can get so all sorts of information about this similarly just by typing this. Okay, so you get all these information. The name of the variable is here. The dimensions are given here. The type is given here, and it gives number of values, it gives coordinates, it also gives all the attributes of this NetCDA variable. Uh, you can also quickly plot and see this data set. Okay. So the to plot it, you have to slice it into a two. So here you can see that this is a three-dimensional array. You can to plot it, at least you have to make it a two-dimensional array, right? So you can do that just by doing, okay, I am fixing the time axis to the first one, 0, 1, and I'm using everything else. So this becomes a two-dimensional array, and then you can just do a simple plot of this. Okay, it says uh, error. Let's see, what is it? I guess it is, yeah. So basically it uses matplotlib for plotting, and which is again not installed. So let's install it. Uh, so here again I'll do pip install matplotlib. Yeah. I guess if it, yeah. So the matplotlib is installed, and I could just plot and see what is there here. Okay. You can also get line plots. So for getting line plots, you have to the data set should be a one-dimensional. So if I fix the one of the latitude or longitude also along with this, and then if you do a plot, it will give a simple XY line plot like this. So it's very handy when it comes to you want to quickly check a data set. You can use this, the plot function. Now you can also do slicing of this data set. Let's say you want to, so slicing can be done, slicing or subsetting can be done in various ways. One is the regular using the indexes. Okay, so like this, I can do something like, okay, get me 0 to maybe something like 30. So so I got the first 30 latitudes and all longitudes here. I can also get something like, so somewhere maybe 100 to 200. Okay, so, and yeah, so then I got this longitude, and you can see, so the longitudes are from 100 to 109, 119, and latitudes are from -35 to -10. And if you see, you can just see a plot it and see. Okay, so yeah, it's around that area. There's Australia. No. So you can do the slicing, subsetting like this. Okay. But also you can subset it using the exact value of the coordinate, not just using this indexes, but right away with the exact values. So so to do that, okay, let's we'll do that in, okay. So here I can you have to use the method cell. Okay, and then you can give the longitude, the coordinate name, and then you can say something like, okay, or give, you can use another latitude and give me the 0th latitude. Okay. Now, what is it saying? Index. No values. Okay. So maybe I think that 0 latitude is not there or something. Yeah. So now it got it. So what happened here is that exactly the latitude 0 is not present. Of course, it can happen, right? You can see that there is only 0.5 degree lat, and maybe there will be minus 0.5 degree also. So exactly the 0th latitude is not available, and because of that, I had to give a argument which is called method equal to nearest, by which I could get the nearest uh, latitude to 0, which is 0.5. Okay, so like this you can also do, maybe you can give another latitude here. Okay, 10. Okay, so then you'll get a the two latitudes which is close to 0 and which is close to 10. So you can give a list of values here and then get a slice of the latitudes, such as you can do something like list of range to 10. Okay, and then you can get all the latitudes which is from 0 to 10. Okay, so the closer latitudes you'll get, I mean the subset of that you'll get. Similarly, you can put this you can use multiple and get sections of different coordinates. Okay. So that's about subsetting it and reading a netcdf file in Xarray. And these are very, I mean, the basic functionalities which I just explained, and there are a lot more things you can do in Xarray. So here is the documentation of Xarray. So indexing and selecting itself has a lot of other functionalities which can be used. So you can get a subset of data with a mask, and like we can use a where function and get a subset of your data set with some kind of mask, and many other functionalities are there available here, which you can go through by yourself and as you need. You can do simple interpolations also in this, nearest neighbor, etc. kind of interpolations are also doable. You can do reshaping of data sets, and small computations are also available. Like you can do basic math, and you can get some mean, minimum, mean, and such information directly. All these things there are so many things which I think I won't be able to cover here. All these things can be directly done from a X-ray data set. You can also write a netcdf file in from Xarray. So to write a netcdf, you can either write a simple data array into a netcdf, that is just one variable. So you can do da2 netcdf and give some file name. Okay, so test nc .nc. Okay, so if I do this, yeah, so it wrote to an HCDF file. Now let's see what is there inside the file. You can do click nc dump here of this test underscore .nc. Oh, sorry, nc dump is not available. So maybe we can again do a X-ray open and see XR open data set test underscore nc.nc. So yeah, so you can see that I wrote a data array into an etcd, and it writes all its attributes, also coordinates, and all metadata is also available. You can also subset it and write it if you want to have a small portion of it. So let's say I want only the first time, then you can get it like this. Okay, if I okay, so this file is already there, that's why it's giving this error. So I can write it to some other file, or you can remove that file and rewrite it. You can check with what is there inside this file. Yeah, so it doesn't have that. It only have one a 2D variable without time. Okay, so so this is about X-ray. A similar way, you can also write a data set. I wrote a data array here, but in a similar fashion, if you can write a data set also. It's the same, syntax are the same. So that's about X-ray. So another tool which is very helpful in dealing with the NetCDF data, not just any NetCDF data, but the NetCDF data which are used in our climate science field is CDO. We all most of the people might have used it directly as a terminal command. But now the CDO library is also available for Python. Okay, so which can be imported by typing import CDO, and of course I don't have it installed, so I need to install it. If install CDO. Okay, so yeah, now it is installed. So to use CDO, we have to first create a CDO object. I guess it is something like this. Yeah, so then first you have to create a CDO object. Maybe what should I do? I will import it slightly different. So I'll import from the CDO module, I'll import all. So this means that I'm importing from CDO module all its content, okay? And then I can directly use this And then, so I'm creating a CDO object here using this class, okay? Okay, what is it saying? No file or directory. Okay, let me check how to initialize CDO in Python. CDO Python. So this is the documentation available for CDO. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing it correctly. If I can create an object first.
Maybe start kernel, I don't know.
No, it is actually importing it. No such file or directory. Okay, so basically, I'll just try in. I guess that error is because Python requires the CDO library installed, and I don't have that in my local machine. So you might have to install CDO. So I'll try in some other machine where CDO is installed. Yeah, so basically, I think the issue is in my local machine, I don't have the actual CDO installed. The pip install only installs the Python wrapper of CDO, but not the CDO itself. So that should be the issue. So if it was inside a Linux system, you can easily install CDO by using sudo apt-get install CDO like Ubuntu systems. I'm using a Mac, so installing CDO requires something else. Maybe I have to use some other packages, which I mean, I'm not going to spend time on that. Either I will maybe I'll show you some examples of using CDO using in another system which I have connected here. So let me check what where is this opened. Okay. Yeah, so there are some data sets here. I will I will show some examples from here. Okay. So from CDO import all, create a CDO object. Okay. And then let me see what are the available data sets. Yeah, there are some netcdo files available here. Okay. So I'll use one of these here. So so basically you can use any CDO command which is available in the terminal. Usually when you use CDO inside this inside this Python module. Okay, so I'll just give some few examples, maybe how to use it. So let's say I want to select first. Let's see what is there in this file. Can do a nc dump of this. Okay, so you can see there is the variable name is TOS. So I can just open or read the variable here. Okay, simply for or maybe I can select the variable for the Indian region maybe. Okay, so how to do that in CDO? So we can do, so I'm giving the variable var equal to CDO. So the command for selecting a box, a lat long box, is in CDO is lat cell lon lat box. Okay, so you have to use the same same command as a method to the CDO object, and then you have to give the box as you have to give the box as input. So first is longitude, so I'll give 30 to 100, and then maybe minus 30 to 30. Okay, so this is the box. So 30 east to 100 east, and 30 south to 30 north. Okay, and then you have to give the input. Okay, input is the file TOS. It was the file name was TOS HMESM historical. Okay, so when you give this and break this into line so that it is okay. So when you run this, you get the var. Okay, now the var is just a, you can see var contains this some string which point towards some data inside temp. So by default, CDO will give you back a data set a netcdf dataset in temp directory, okay, which you can then read it by xarray maybe, okay, but also you can also get back the variable in form of xarray directly by giving an extra argument, return x a return xarray equal to the name of the variable which you want to get back, which is TOS, okay. So now if you do var, yeah, you have the TOS variable, and which is also subsetted over this this longitude 30 to 100 and over this latitudes, okay. Now this variable is actually a xarray variable, okay. Now, and all the xarray variable functionality is available in this variable. Like you can just quickly plot it and see. Okay, so yeah, so this is SST over the Indian region. Okay, so likewise, you can also do things like so in CDO, you know that you can give multiple operations in a single command. So the same thing can also be done here. For example, if I want to do, let's say, if I want to subset this area, and also I want to do a zonal mean, and this can be done in a single command. So this can be done. So the outer command, you can give it like this. So I want a zone mean, okay, and I also want to do select select lon lat box. So then you can give it as a string, okay, cell lon lat box, like you give it in a in CDO usually. So that is 3200 and then minus 30 to 30, and then your file name, which is this. Okay, and give me the return as xarray for the variable TOS, right? So if I do this, and then if I see what is var, you can see that it is I have this only one lon, because it's a it's just it's a zonal mean. Let's say I also want to have a field mean, which is the area mean. I can do this, which will actually mean over an area, and then I'll get a time series here. Yeah, now if I try this, yeah, now I can see I have it simple. The data is only spanning over the time. Can also see it by plotting it. Plot. Yeah, so this is just a time series. You can see the SST increase here, trend. So yeah, so this is CDO, and as you know, there are a lot of functionalities in CDO, and which are all available here inside Python. And this is combining CDO and Xarray. I think you can almost do all kind of manipulation of NetCDF in Python in very simple and few lines of codes. So these are the two tools by which you can do most of the operations, and there is also NCO, which is a tool which is used for many NetCDF climate data operations, which is also available in Python. Okay, so the Python wrapper for NCO is also available. So people who are interested can have a look at the NCO wrapper also. Yeah, so with this, I think I will conclude, and we'll have some questions answered if there are any. I will share this notebook in the GitHub, which I shared. Yeah, if there are any questions.
Hi, Prajesh, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. In the chat box, there are several, and there were several queries, but I think people have been responding to them.
Okay.
Most of them want the data. There is one question: how can we do wavelet analysis for a variable from a NetCDF file?
So the wavelet analysis is a special analysis which I mean, if there are any packages, you have to use that, but basically you have to read the data, and for reading the data, you can use these tools, Xarray and CDO and all, and then you have to find how you can do the wavelet analysis. I don't know where it is there, but I'm sure it must be there. Some packages must be available for wavelet analysis.
Right. Is another question: is it also used? I think this is for Xarray. Can this also be used for HDF4 and HDF5 files?
Yeah, HDF files are also supported. I guess in Xarray, they are also supported. Also, Xarray can be used for reading multiple data sets spanning in time. Let's say you have data sets which are spanning over time, but having same variables. They can be read at once in a single. I mean, they can be opened at once in a single command using mf open or something. You can check the documentation here to check what exactly is the method used. Also, Xarray support parallel computing with Dask, and yeah, so there are several more functionalities in Xarray which I haven't actually explained here. Can you explain how to import CDO in Python again? So here so basically you should install CDO library for Python using pip install CDO. Okay, plus you also need the actual CDO library, which is with the usual CDO library installed. So if you have both, then you can import import CDO like this, imports from CDO import star. Okay, you do this, and then when you run this, you have to create a CDO object like this, and then you can use the CDO object for your subsequent operations. But this failed in my local machine because I didn't had the CDO library, CDO installed. Okay. Yeah. So and it worked in the HPC because the HPC already had CDO installed, and which is here. Here it worked because it already had CDO. Present in Villata before feeding it to an ML program, how seriously affect the convergence of model? I guess missing values will have very serious problem for convergence in ML programs. You dealing with the missing values are not trivial. I guess the issues you have to, I mean, depending upon your problem, whether you can replace it with some value or what to do with that depends upon the problem which you're handling, I guess. How to and I think X-ray can be used to read HDF files also. I'm not sure about it. I haven't used. So if there are no other questions, I think I'll stop it here.
Yes, there is one question which is can GRADS ferret be used in?
I'm not sure GRADS, but definitely there is PyFerret, which where you can use ferret inside Python. Yes.
And there is one question. Please show how to rename, not copying and rename coordinates in Xarray. Okay.
Yeah. So
Please show how
then
to rename coordinates. Yes.
yeah, you can use in Xarray. I mean, really, you want to use Xarray for that, or because there are easier method for renaming a coordinate, you should use NCO for that. The NCO is specially made for such operations, so maybe you should use NCO for that. Of course, Xarray can also be used, but but then it's just the normal operations which you do. You have to read the data, and then you access the coordinate, and then you give a different name, and then you save the data. So it's too much of work. Yeah.
Sir. Yes, sir. I am a Mayur here. Sir, I used this the to rename the coordinate. There is an I want to rename it to. So I to do that as per the XRA Echo documentation. But the XRA is doing is same thing and new name, that is it's giving a new name and there is added in the file. So
So for just to so if you just want to rename, if your question is done, you can unmute because it's echoing.
yeah, because I'm going to proceed with doing the next the model getting confused between the animals. How can I solve that? We just want to rename the coordinate only. Thank you.
Okay, so to rename the coordinate, if you just want to rename a coordinate, it is too much of work if you're using Xarray. You don't have to use that. It can be done in a single command using NCO. And I can share the link here if you want, or you can just search NCO rename coordinate. It's not just coordinate. You can rename anything using NCO.
Okay. So because I am directly using the data from and then that NC file, I'm not using the NC file. I'm directly filling the data and using that.
No, I so please unmute. Please unmute. So I'm not sure
Yeah,
what exactly is exactly the your problem is. I mean, what problem you're exactly facing and why is it happening and all. I mean, I will need more details. But I'm saying if you want to just to rename a coordinate variable, the best way is to use NC rename, by which you can just do it in a single command.
okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Please share that link.
Yeah.
The chat. Thanks.
Okay, so there are several more questions, but move to the next session right now in the interest of time. So thank you,
Yeah.
Prajesh, for hosting such a good session.